All right, I know this video is very long, so I must say, if you're gonna watch this, I do recommend, of course, increasing the speed that you're gonna watch, 1.25 times, 1.5 times, and also I would like if you heard us out. I actually decided to upload this video because I think it's been very a very negative energy that's been going around towards the game, and of course, there's been many issues. But I like to remind everyone that this is a game that I would consider to be the best gacha out there currently. And my friend Mystic made a point here on his Twitter that the devs have actually made more good updates than bad updates. We just don't give them the... I mean, I think we do give him credit. We do definitely give him credit. But I think that we always forget that when we see all the bad updates coming as well. So I invite him. We have a chat. I would like, if you want to hear what we have to say, do so. It's a very feel-good video, by the way. We're not complaining. I do complain a little bit because I can't stop myself. It's an issue. But it's mostly a feel-good video. If you like the game, you're going to like the video, what we have to say. We just remember good updates that have come in the past, and there's definitely still good updates to come in the future. So here what we have to say. Go sub to Mystic. He has been inactive really on Grand Cross, uploading videos because of his personal, real life stuff got in the way, but he is very excited to continue now that he's a little more with time. So also, for background, I'm putting like some OG gameplay plus some, not that OG, but, relatively old gameplay in the background just cause I felt like it would be fun to, watch that. So yeah. 2 hour 50-minute video. Okay, so recently we've got a big wave from the Netmarble dev team, the evil Netmarble dev team, of just horrible updates back to back to back to back. I don't know, I brought here Mystic because you made a good point on Twitter that the devs, they're competent, so we shouldn't just lose complete hope. But are you playing the game? How's your situation? Because you have been making videos, but you're keeping up with the updates and everything.
Yes. So for the most part, if I'm not like I haven't been playing, I wasn't playing when I stopped uploading, but I have been playing recently, and in between, I've been keeping up with all the updates. I pretty much watch you and Sora's videos and Speedy's. Like that's pretty much like who I've been watching to keep up with what's going on in terms of new characters,
So
new units, new strong
Kusak
metas.
came out
Yes,
2 weeks after Margaret.
that was so weird. But it was like I was like really tempted to get back into it right when they announced Ragnarok because that seemed like such a hype drop. But that was like one of the things that I was really interested in. But yeah, so like I have been keeping up even though I haven't been playing as much, and I am playing now. I hopped in, I just like walked over to the statue. I'm like, what are people playing, right? So I go over to like who's the top three, and all three teams are Margaret,
Margaret,
what was it?
Tarmiel, Goddess Liz, and Green Gear in the back.
Yep. So
All
I'm
three.
like, I'm gonna try this out. I had so much fun with that team.
It's the best team in the game now.
Oh,
So I brought you here. By the way, if you don't know Mystic, because you haven't been uploading for a while, and there's not a lot of new players, but there's some. You can check out his channel in the description. You said you want to do a little bit of a comeback for especially Slime. The Slime collab seems promising.
I'm really excited. I'm more so excited not for like new units to come out, but to see if they buff the units that we already have.
Yes, a major thing is will they buff the old Slime characters because they're horrendously bad. Especially like they were bad when they came out. It's the thing, right? They weren't even good
when they
which is
launched.
odd because after that, I would say that the AOT characters weren't really all that either. But
they
after
were like
that,
super niche, but they were usable.
Yeah, they weren't like broken. But after like KOF, ReZero, those units are broken.
Yeah,
they
learned from the first two collabs. They were like, wait, we gotta sell more.
Yeah.
Like, gotta make these units better.
Yeah, which it's not necessarily the best thing because after they release, you can't really get dupes anymore, which is annoying.
Yeah, that's the
like
big issue.
My Levi's 2-6 to this day.
On my global, I had straight across the board. I had all up until KOF. I had every single collab unit,
It's
6-6 with
dedication.
max cosmetics.
I mean, I also do now, except the old ones. I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's the issue. The
I I,
completion is
I
can't
didn't.
happen anymore.
I wasn't aware when the OT came out. It was my mistake. But yeah, I brought you here to talk about good updates that Netmarble has done, so we can remember that even though these days the light doesn't seem to be at the end of the tunnel, but maybe there is. Maybe there is. Maybe they are competent. At the same time, like I've talked about this on Twitter. I think that a big portion of the team that worked in the beginning of Grand Cross is not working on it anymore. They moved on maybe to a different Netmarble project. They're working
Solo
maybe on
leveling.
this. They're working maybe on the solo leveling game or whatever other game, because Neymar was pumping out games all the time, right?
Yeah.
They may be like working on different games, so it's probably, I don't know, like we have no idea like any info on the dev team at all, but I assume so.
That's just like, yeah,
It's a normal thing, like dev studios do that all the time.
right. They move departments, move around, just quit the company. Like they
Mhm.
could be working somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, so I told you to bring to me as a homework here your
I did my
top
homework.
favorites updates Grand Cross has ever done. But I don't know what I'm gonna put in the background. I think I'm just gonna put like random PvP gameplay. Uh,
Okay.
but maybe if there's something related to the update, I'll put on screen as well. And give it to me. I also made my list. I tried making a list of things that maybe you wouldn't think about. So we'll see. You tell me
I
yours
put
first.
just like random things, not in order, just sporadically across.
Yeah, like it's really difficult to like remember this kind of stuff, because
No.
especially like the gold gotcha, right? They used to be gems. Like, yeah, that's an update that
Hey,
was
that was
cool.
the first thing on my list.
Really,
Yes.
really. But that's not something that you actively think about,
Right. There's so many quality of life changes that go by without you realizing, and then when you try to think back, it's hard to remember how the game was when it first came out. But I'm thinking back to when JP first launched, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the global players that maybe if you started on global and then moved to JP, or you never played JP when it first came out, like when Grand Cross came out, it is like nothing like what it was today.
You're
There was
talking about paying gold to switch SSR gear from character to character.
God, the unequipped cost. I forgot about that.
I just remembered that.
Oh my god, you had to pay gold to unequipped gear. Oh,
Yeah, and
and it got more expensive if you were doing like SSR gear. So I would build SR gear specifically because it had a cheaper unequipped cost than
and back in the day,
SSR gear.
gold was not an easy thing to have.
No, I was struggling. But one of the first biggest things that I'm sure everyone uses today, but might not have realized at the time, like we just take it for granted, is the gear progression in the sense of hammers and anvils.
Yep.
So with the release of what Training Cave, or when did anvils themselves drop? I think they might have dropped before Training
They
Cave.
dropped before I started playing the game, so
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't
then
really tell.
hammers existed with Training Cave. That's when they came out together. But anvils never existed when the game first came out, and it was a good like few months before they dropped anvils. So just try to think about it. Try upgrading your gear purely through gems.
Now imagine now with all the gears you have to make with your gear, because back in the day when there was only SSR gear, you just you had maybe 8 sets and that was it. Like that was like all you had to do if you're a whale, even, right?
Exactly. Because UR gear wasn't a thing.
But imagine having to reroll every single piece of gear you have now with gems. That just insane to think about. Because sometimes I go like 4,000 anvils for one set if I
Yep.
get really unlucky.
And the thing is, there's like a way to view it. It's like a perspective thing. When you don't know anvils and hammers exist, you're like fine with the current system.
Yeah,
Like you're like,
of
man,
course.
I wish this could be better. But it's one of those things where now that they exist, you're like, I could never live without this.
Yeah, of
And
course.
Netmarble is pretty good at giving us updates that we didn't know we needed until they gave it to us.
An update I know I needed, but they took out from us, is the time chambers, the time capsule things, the ones that you put on the anvil stage.
Yes.
Now it's not every week.
It's every 2 weeks now, right?
Yep.
Why? Why would they do that?
It's a bad update. I'm telling you, it's
No.
been a handful of really bad updates they've been pumping
No.
out. This is why I brought you here. Listen, they just stop talking about the bad updates. Let's talk
Well,
about the
so
positives.
this is the issue, right? I see that Netmarble is doing bad updates, and there's something like that is going to happen. There's no game where there's only
Yeah,
positive updates.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is like impossible, unrealistic to ask for. Like there will be bad updates.
Of
But
course.
the issue or the thing with Netmarble or specifically in Grand Cross is that there are more good updates than there are bad updates. And that's like the whole point that I was making on my tweet is that at the end of it, the net outcome of the game is still like if you take a look at it like every few months, like the game is usually better than it was a few months ago, even if there was individual updates in between that just like are like why would you ever do this?
Yeah, there's
So
it's been some handful of questionable decisions though. It really has.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
it's
I've
it's,
been seeing
it's
was just,
difficult
like,
to like take out my perception from like, man, you're really messing up right now. You know, like
yeah.
it's just
And some of them feel like dev decisions that are just like really weird, but there's also like a good
most are
amount of
suit
decisions.
decisions for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like dropping those packs for the new relic stuff, like for the relic
There's
materials.
no way like a
That's not
developer
a
of the
dev
game thought
decision.
about that. There's no
Yeah,
way.
that is not a dev decision. That's someone took the whip to the dev and says if you want to get your $2 paycheck this week, you better drop that pack.
Yeah, and also dropping through festivals back to back definitely was a suit
Yeah.
decision. Like, yeah, our sales are going down. You know, our game is getting older. There's not as many new players. You better drop through festivals back to back. But let's stop talking about the bad stuff.
Okay.
Let's-
So I'm gonna go into. You already mentioned the gear, or like gear gotcha being
Yeah.
changed from gold
from
to
gems to gold. It used to be 20 gems. That was such a ripoff.
so weird, and it was bad too. There was nothing good in there.
Like it's good now, you know, 200k gold. You get, you know, you spam like millions and millions of gold, but like 20 gems per one of those multis is just horrible.
Yep. So alongside the gear aspect is just like the gear re-rolling revamp. How much of a UI change they made from the start of that to now?
Oh yeah.
How quickly you can re-roll your gear? How easily you can do it?
You used
And
to
that's
have
like-
you used to have to manually click every time.
And like I would sit there, and especially when you are a whale and you're like working on sets for like 4 or 5 units at a time, it's like impossible. Like you would sit there for hours, not being able to play the game because you're just trying to click the anvil button to re-roll. That's it.
Yeah, and
That's
these days
all you're doing.
because now you can do all 5. Like some people are like, "Oh no, you have to do one by one. 5 is worse," but this is not true. When I do like all 5, what I do is, you know, I know I have to like go to the kitchen or something. Then I just click, I go, and then when I'm back, it might be almost done. You know, so you can just
Yep.
leave it on auto re-rolling. It's a really good update actually.
So moving from there,
And they updated like multiple times. They kept improving it. Also.
yeah, like one of the big things was like the speed that got constantly improved.
Oh yeah. Oh, you should be so much slower.
Okay. So I'm still trying to keep the same like topic. So we're still on gear and like upgrading and stuff. So the next thing is the Lilia event. Like when that came out, it was just like free reign for everyone. Everyone's celebrating. Like, yes, I can have like unlimited material, unlimited gold, unlimited chalices,
Yeah.
any amount of blue crystals. Like when that first dropped, it was like are we sure the devs did the right thing? They seem to be a little too generous.
and
with this
when it
event.
came back, they nerfed it a little bit, but it was basically the same still.
Yeah, it was too good the first time around.
And
But
you
just-
know, for global players, you also knew ahead of time to save your stamina pots for that.
Yep. And pretty much made it so that you had enough materials to make gem. I mean to what is it, to craft gear whenever you wanted, and you would just wait for the 2 times what is it, disenchant event, and then use that opportunity to like it's like okay,
Yeah,
time
you
to
got
craft
so much
gear.
gear stuff, and gold as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I mean, the
So-
cost was big for the stamina pots, but again, if you knew ahead of time, you could just save them. And
Right. And there's not many other gachas that like even as a free to play player you will have that amount of stamina pots.
I mean, yeah, the stamina pod system in general. I mean, it was a thing that released with the game, right? Or was it an update?
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
the stamina's been that way from the start. Like
Yeah,
this game has just been extremely
it's a
generous with
thing
stamina.
that we take for granted, but you know that is just absurd. We have infinite stamina basically.
Yep.
Basically, it's not really infinite, but it is basically. While like other games like Dokkan these days have been like doing that meat stuff, which is cool, but it's not on the level of Grand Cross. It just isn't.
Okay, so that's like pretty much all the gear related stuff that I want to talk about. Some other things. Cosmetics being purchasable with gems. That was something in early JP that wasn't actually a thing.
Really, I didn't know that.
You could buy individual pieces for gems, but there were some like sets that were exclusively purchasable
Oh
with money
yeah,
only.
like those malevolent sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Like,
only money like that. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then they
so
changed it.
yep. When like global came around, they pretty much changed the policy to like everything is just like you can buy it with gems. And again,
Mhm.
that's like a small thing, but it adds up. Then on that same cosmetic note, them releasing cosmetic upgrades. For us, it's like a pain in the ass.
It's horrible.
But it
Come on, I don't like the update.
no, so I
Don't
don't
like
like
it.
that it can go from SSR to UR, but or I don't like the UR being upgradable. If they just made it so that
Yes, yes, I agree.
SRs can go to URs, then it's
Yes,
great.
I definitely agree. I think that it would have been a much better system if either, right? You can upgrade URs, but the cost of the SSR is half of the UR, not
Right.
double. Like well, it makes
that's
no
really
sense.
it's
That
really weird for that.
it makes no
But
sense that you have to pay 60 for the SSR. And then I never upgraded SR. I'm assuming it's 90.
yep.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
So they could have done better on it, but for me, like just like them releasing that system was like I thought like okay, like it gives an opportunity for people who will not spend because it doesn't take any currency. Like if
Yeah.
you are someone who is free to play and you only have like a couple of SR pieces here and there with the few like SSR pieces that you get for free or through Final Boss or whatever,
Final
like
boss is UR.
Final Boss you are. I'm so used to SSR just being like the
Yeah,
highest
yeah,
thing
yeah.
in my head. But whatever I mean, right? Like you get your free pieces here and there, but it doesn't complete your full five, like the
Mm-hmm.
five you can take up, your 5 slots.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of
it
course.
gives you the option to take an SSR all the way up because at the end of the day, the stats are the same, right? Like the main
Yeah,
stat
that's
of
that's also a
attack,
thing.
defense,
I
HP.
actually have on my list. There used to be that free-to-play cosmetics had less
Used to be
stats
worse. Yeah.
than pay-to-play cosmetics, and they changed that with the cosmetic upgrade update. They made all cosmetics a flat line. That's a random thing that I think a lot of people don't even know. That free-to-play
I forgot about that.
free-to-play cosmetics used to have, I think, it was half the stats of a pay-to-play
It was
cosmetic.
so much worse.
Yeah. So like if like when you upgrade a character from SSR to UR, you would get like a UR cosmetic, like for the chest, right? Like just the.
Mm-hmm.
But that UR would have like same stats as an SSR cosmetic.
As a paid SSR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a paid SSR. Yeah, good. Not for the play SSR, a paid SSR.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, that was an update with the actual upgrade cosmetic update.
So going on from there, character buffs. I really, really like the fact that whenever, not every time, but when a new unit comes out of like an older character, they tend to buff the older character.
More
And like,
not these days it doesn't really happen anymore because they haven't really been releasing characters of older characters at all.
right.
But one thing that they do all the time is they release a new character that has a card that other characters have, and they buff that card,
Yep.
which can
And
be
I wrote
very
that down here.
significant.
Like Slater's, like the card when, why can't I remember? Sariel came out
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
his Sever card.
yes,
Like,
all
it-
Sever
they
cards got buffed
It just got buffed across the board. And, like,
because it
Slater
used
got
to
a
be
big buff for
double
that.
chance, now it then became triple chance.
And it was that plus they buffed the damage of the move.
I don't remember that. I know they
Yeah,
remember
like,
they changed
move-
the the actual like thing, the Sever text.
The move itself got better, like on top of that.
See,
That's why it's like the next
I
day I made
agree.
a Slater video.
Yeah, gotta capitalize on that. I agree with the buff character, point, but I think they should do more.
Yeah.
Older characters can't compete at all. So I think they
Bring back
should
Green Meliodas.
bring Counter Melee, best thing in the game.
Counter Melee.
But I should,
Bring him back.
I think that they should go in individually, buff characters. This is what they're trying to do with Holy Relics. Like you saw, like Brawler Bond gets an like flat out 20% extra damage.
Every time someone dies, right?
No, just 20% extra damage.
Wait, with the relic?
Yeah, Brawler Bond Relic, just a regular Brawler Bond, base Bond.
Oh,
Like,
Polar Bond. Okay, okay.
he just does 20% more damage. That's his passive. There's 20% more damage, unconditional.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah,
that's
I saw the Twigo one. Doesn't he get like 30%?
30% extra HP related stats and
in his
taunts
taunt?
for 2 turns.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yes, that is good, but I still think that they should buff stats. Most of
Yes.
all, substats are horrendous for those old units compared
Back
to
then,
these days.
substats, like, I don't think the devs knew how much of a difference the substats made until Pierce came out.
Pierce was a game changer, absolute
Yeah.
game changer.
When Pierce came out, they're like, wait, the Pierce stat does something.
Yeah,
And then they made Valenti afterwards.
yeah,
But,
that was a game
like-
changer, and then crit became the new thing.
Yeah, substats like just like weren't a thing until like probably past year one when we started getting units with actual good substats.
Yeah, so it's cool and all. They do some buffs here and there, but they definitely gotta hammer those substats on old characters. That's a big thing for me.
And one thing that is pretty minor, but I think it shows a good amount of consideration, is top 100 units being complete garbage.
Garbage, yeah. There's only been two because no one cares about, like, they figured out that like no one cares, right? And like they can't really make them good because that would be
Yeah.
unfair. But yeah,
And
that
they
was an
specifically
interesting
they
touch.
specifically said it when top 100 was coming out, that they said that these units are meant to be collectibles and we are not making them good on purpose. Like that is like straight up like from the devs, like in the dev notes around the time
Yeah, I remember
when
that.
top 100 came out. So that's like one of the things where like I see something like that and I'm like, it shows that they understand to an extent. So that's why whenever bad updates happen these days, I feel like it feels almost like it's not the same people doing the
It's what I'm saying. It's not
Yeah.
the same team. They definitely moved some people and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. Like there's some level of they know that the game is very PvP based, and they know that majority of people won't be able to get certain units. It's like they said, like, yeah, we know you guys want the collab units back. We're trying to have that done, because the collab units are very powerful. I mean, these days no collab units like super meta. Maybe Amelia. But like these things, like people should have at least the opportunity to get like festival characters through buying them on the coin shop. It shows that they know that the game is very PvP focused, but
Yeah. I wish they made PvP itself a little bit more interesting, but
I wish they made separate game modes.
yeah, like
Call
we're
of
getting
Duty.
a lot of PvE content, but like
Not really.
I mean anytime there's something new, it's not PvP, right?
No.
So that's the issue, right? Like if you name like the last like 5 new things to come out in the game, like they're not PvP.
But here's the thing: every character made basically is for PvP,
That's true.
which is, I guess, content. I don't know.
It's like yes and no. Like there's no game mode related to PvP. That's something new for people to do. It's just like changing up the meta when a new unit comes out.
One interesting thing though, right now, and it's been a thing since I want to say since Green Easton came out a long time ago. There's many viable teams. Like people point out, oh, this is the best team in the game, and yeah, it is the best team in the game, but you don't have to use it. Like today,
true.
I used Old Ludo, Merlin, and Escanor, and I won against people using Tarmiel, Goddess Liz, and Margaret. I mean, to be fair, I probably spend more money in the game than they do, right? That's definitely a
Right, but
factor.
it's the worst team.
But
by,
it's
like,
a much
bit.
worse team. It's just
And like, do you remember how long when Global came out, when even JP's out, how long Ult Rush,
Ultra Rush was the only
Kingdom,
viable team in the game.
like
You
And
couldn't use anything else.
no, but I'm saying how long Ult Rush was good.
Yes, yes. Goddess Liz, Lost Vein, and Blue Skinny King was the meta for way too long, and you couldn't use anything else, or else you would not win. It was horrible. Then Green Eastern came out, and I think that's when they were like, "Oh, we can make counter units and we'll profit from that, huh?"
Yeah, and they're like counter units that work really well when like
Facing other
you
units.
know, yeah. So they're like okay when like the counter isn't being run, so they're like mediocre, but they're really strong when like you're running it into the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
That's a positive. I feel like there's many PvP meta teams. I want to say Bond is still a meta team. The Margaret team, the Merlin team is still super meta. Old Ludo, I wouldn't say, I'll call it off meta. But the one team is still meta. It's good.
Time for me to bring back King Hendy.
King Handy, baby.
King Hendy.
It's the worst.
And that was my prime back then.
That is the worst team in the game.
It's so funny because it
you
was
go
like
first,
the undisputed best team.
Yeah, it was undisputed best. But like you go first, you triple attack, and the next turn they cleanse.
Yeah, you literally it is you cannot win with that team.
Well,
I tried running it and I got slammed, but I don't know, this makes me want to like go and play like old units and just like get crushed in PvP, but it sounds fun. I'm gonna bring out Mikasa again.
Mikasa's not bad. It's an old unit at this point, but I wouldn't say she's bad. I think she aged way better than Levi and Aaron, for sure.
You give Mikasa the angel race,
Okay, you're asking too much.
and then you run her on Margaret's team.
You're asking a little too much, but I mean, you just run Green Golfer, Margaret, and Mikasa.
Yep.
Death Pierce in the back.
Death Pierce? No, Green Gill. You need as much
Death Pierce. I cannot not use Death Pierce. My favorite.
Death Pierce. You remember when like Green Gotha came out? It was like the emergence of Death Pierce, Green Gotha.
Yes. Yes,
like
Death Pierce used to be a joke. Used to be a joke, and then now is a god.
It's so funny. Go find either. It doesn't matter whose channel. My channel, Nagato's channel, Speedy's channel. Go look when Green Gotha came out, and then watch like randomly click on like 5 PvP videos after that point, right? Like skip a week or two.
Every video.
Every single video.
You think I stopped using?
Gotha.
You think I stopped using Green Golfer and Death Pierce? It never stopped.
Such a good duo. That's why like when Green Gotha came out, and like I was like, this is the best unit in the game. And people were like, nah. Like, you're insane.
It is the best unit in the game.
Literally the highest play rate play unit in history of Grand Cross.
It's Goddess Liz, actually.
Oh, that's true. Goddess Liz. Oh my god. Get her out. Get her out. Okay, I think that's enough. I hate Goddess Liz.
I hate her.
Netmarble doesn't know.
So much.
Netmarble doesn't know anything because they created Goddess Liz.
Never mind. Cancel the video. The Marble's
cancel
trash.
the video.
Yeah,
but yeah, like closing points. Yes, they're doing some pretty poor things now, but if you take a look at it overall, it's like there's been a lot of good stuff that happened in Grand Cross, and assuming that there are some remnants of hope left on the dev team, hold out a little bit longer. I don't think it's too soon to say like this game is dying. The game's not dying monetarily. It's just like it's not popping off.
It's
like
definitely not. But I think the devs saw the drop in money and they are going. Not the devs, but the suits,
business team or whatever.
Yeah, they're probably a little concerned. Wait, are you done with your updates?
We're only making 10 million a month instead of our normal 15 million a month. What are we gonna do? It's so funny because like even like now, if you go take a look at Sensor Tower and just see the revenue, like it's still just like higher than like 99% of the gachas out there besides like Dokkan and Fate Grand Order. It pretty much beats everything else.
It's a very popular game still. I feel like it, the only issue is that there's no new players because the game is just very difficult to get into these days.
Yeah.
But are you done with your
That's it for me. I have more things, but there's
I just
minor stuff.
Like the thing is that a lot of updates you don't even remember because they're so natural now,
Yeah.
But I have some as well. my number one was the non. I mean, it's not like I didn't go like my favorite to least favorite. I just put in order. But the second one I wrote down was their openness to have collabs, original characters, and the new Ragnarok. Not be
Oh yeah,
strict
I had
with
that down.
only having Seven Deadly Sins characters, which is what a lot of other games do. Like like Dokkan can only have Dragon Ball characters and Dragon Ball related characters. You
And
know,
when was the last time Dokkan had? Wasn't it like the
One Piece collab.
OPTC collab like 18 years ago?
One Piece collab. It didn't even have a One Piece unit. They had a
It was just the
boss.
boss, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped
I
like
was
a
playing it at
free.
that time.
It dropped like a Goku from the boss. It didn't even drop like the boss. Like I think it was Don Flamingo. This is the only villain from One Piece I know, so I'm gonna say it's him. But yeah. Their openness is really cool for other characters.
I'm gonna call it now. My hot take is that Ragnarok is going to be an official story that gets animated at
I
some
hope
point.
so.
And when that happens, Grand Cross is gonna pop off again really
I
hard.
hope so because I mean haven't played Chapter 2 yet. I heard it's not that good. But it's very promising. My next one was the complete SP dungeon revamp. Because the special dungeon used to be completely different. You had to every day do only the type of book or
Oh right,
upgrade
it rotated.
material. Yeah, it was actually every 2 days. I think it was it was 2, 2, 3.
And
It
it was
was,
time locked too.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, you
the
can only
SSR
do
pendant dungeons and stuff.
the SSR pendant dungeons. You can only do 3 runs a day. That was it, unless you paid more. I mean, technically you still can only do 3 because you get 1 per 8 hours, but you can collectively get 5 if you just don't do it. The gold stages were horrendous. They didn't even give you gold basically, and it was time locked. You can only do a certain amount of times, and it was like an hour a day or something. So the speed dungeon was not all that great compared to what it is now. The speed dungeon is way better. But yeah, skip tickets are my next ones. Skip tickets are one of the biggest ones for me because very very helpful.
Yep.
You were like when skip tickets were announced, you were very hyped for it. I remember.
Yeah, because if it was one of those things where it's like a quality of life that games are so stingy to give to us.
Yes. Next one's like the multiple autoplay improvements they made. Like I was watching my autoplay do training dungeon, and it did exactly what I would have done to a lot of the plays. So it's like autoplay has improved a lot over the years that the game has been out. When I started playing the game, autoplay was horrible. It would only do like the worst plays ever.
It would do the worst, and it didn't matter what you changed it in the settings to, right? Like
No,
balance,
it
attack.
would
It
not
literally
matter.
made no difference.
It would
It would
not
do the
matter.
same thing. You would have autoplay with Demon Meliodas, and he would do his
Corrosion
It's
nonstop.
corrosion every single time. Just stop doing the corrosion, man.
It's not perfect, of course, but it's much better than it used to be. One thing that I really like every time I do story is they improve the quality of like the rendering of the 3D of the story chapters, like the cutscenes, so much. It looks so good these days. Have you played the most recent story chapters?
No, I played a little bit of the first chapter of Ragnarok, but I haven't played anything past that.
No, but like the regular story.
Oh, regular story? It's been forever.
Like they improved the quality of the cutscenes like tremendously. It looks so good.
I've seen like streams like when but how recently would you say?
Chapter 16 was the first one when it really
Okay.
bumped up.
No, I gotta take another look then.
And one big thing for me is also there's a guaranteed in every banner now, basically. When it used to be, there was no guaranteed. The only guarantee there was is if you got 5 shafts, you got 1 guaranteed SSR, which could have been any SSR, and in the pool, of course. Now every banner has the guaranteed. I know it's only at 600, but for me, I went 1600 to pull 1 Ludociel when his banner came out.
I remember
So-
that.
Yeah. When was it Green Ascanor? I also went, I think it was a similar thing, like 1400 gems to pull 1 Green Ascanor on global. Something like that. 1200, 1300. So For me, I like it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I like it. But what do you think about the 600?
I personally like it. Back when Global first came out, I was getting shafted left and right on literally every single banner. It would take me like 900 gems to pull. I think I went like 1,000 something gems and didn't pull Red Hellbrum.
Yeah, yeah, it's a thing
And
like
I'm like, everyone's playing King Brum, and I'm like, I want my toy, and I
mhm.
can't use him.
It's a thing like if you go 1200 gems to pull one character, you could have had instead of just one, you could have had three. You
Yep.
know, or you could have stopped at 600 if you just wanted one.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's also the 300 in the middle at a chance for another SSR.
That one, I don't know. Like I feel like there could be more. It could be like one every 150, or
They could do more, but it's just something that exists that didn't exist before.
yeah. Yeah, I guess technically, if you let's say you go 4 shafted multis, and after that you got one SSR every multi, would never get the guaranteed SSR.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, yeah, some improvements. I mean, not we haven't listed all the improvements that have ever been made, but I think the game is not necessarily doomed. I think that they can still bring it up.
It's like they can easily bring it up. It's just not to the standards that we held it before, right? That's the issue. It's not like this like god tier
Oh,
game.
when
that we
before
put it on a
Global came
pedestal.
out, we were sucking its dick left and right. It was non-stop sucking. Oh, it was something else. I don't know what we had, but the game was so good. What can you do? It was definitively the best gacha out there.
Yeah,
I think it still
100%.
is.
I still to this day will say if this game you just had Naruto over it, it would make like 3 times
See,
the amount of
if
money
the
that it makes
Jujutsu
any given
Kaisen
moment.
game that comes out is as good as Grand Cross, it will be way more popular.
And it's not even like as good. Just you just take Grand Cross, like they somehow Netmarble buys Jujutsu Kaisen, and then in the next update, they just swap everything to Jujutsu
That
Kaisen.
I don't think that would that would work very well.
It would work. I'm telling you, be rich, it'd be great.
Like all the characters that have like perks that are kind of related to like what they do in story would make no
That's
sense
true.
anymore. Like
But if you could just take the gameplay system of Grand Cross, like you just take this game, rip it off, and like customize the characters to be more towards what they are in their own games or like in their own shows.
yeah.
Like you just like I want a copy paste of Grand Cross gameplay on a different IP, and I'll be happy.
Listen, I never said should be like the biggest Seven Deadly Sins fan, ever. I like it.
I did not care about Seven Deadly Sins. The
I
game is
actually
just fun.
I actually like it. I read the manga. I think the story is really
I like
fun.
Escanor. I like Escanor.
Yeah, like the story is really fun, especially when Escanor is present. Especially when Escanor is present, he makes every panel with Escanor is good. There's no panel where Escanor is there that's not good, except when he said Lolly Merlin was cute. That was a little awkward, but other than that, he makes the story very fun. Like the story is very fun. It's very raw. Like the battles are really cool. But I never like was my top 10 anime. If they make the same game, but Naruto, JoJo, come on, like so much. But so yeah, I think we wrapped it up really well. Thank you for coming in. I
No
think
problem. It's always fun.
I said in the beginning people should go to your channel. So I hope you do upload now.
I will. Expect a video tomorrow. I'll probably will be trying out Mikasa on Margaret's team.
And this video is gonna come out tomorrow too. So, oh, yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well,
But-
same day.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you guys for watching in the 37-minute long video. But yeah, that's it.